As I reflect on my journey, I realize that the struggles I've faced since childhood weren't just random occurrences. They were divine markers, signs that I am meant for something greater. From a young age, I felt a constant tug of resistance in my life. It wasn't as if I were always the most visible target, but I often felt like I didn't quite fit in, like something was pushing me out of the comfort of normalcy. Yet looking back, I see these experiences not as burdens, but as proof of a divine purpose, a reminder that I was never meant to be ordinary. When I was a child, I struggled with feelings of isolation. There were moments where I found it hard to connect with others, where I questioned why things felt so difficult compared to my peers. What I didn't understand at the time was that these struggles were meant to shape me, to build strength in my spirit before I could walk into the fullness of my purpose. They were like the refining fire that burns away impurities, preparing me for the greatness that was always ahead, even when I couldn't see it. I now realize that the challenges I faced weren't random. They were designed to strengthen me, not break me. Each struggle was a stepping stone, part of the divine preparation for my greater purpose. What seemed like setbacks were actually lessons that shaped me into something extraordinary. Looking back, I see signs, moments of clarity that guided me toward my mission, reminding me I wasn't alone and that God was protecting and guiding me. I also learned that the energy I carried wasn't just for me, but for a larger purpose. Like Joseph in the Bible, my uniqueness attracted both support and opposition. Despite the negativity, I couldn't be stopped because the purpose within me was unshakable. These challenges weren't meant to break me, but to build me and teach me resilience, faith, and the truth that I was walking the path I was meant to walk. I also learned that the true protection and strength came from within. God had always been with me, even when I didn't fully recognize His presence. The moments of hardship were actually moments of preparation, times when I was being strengthened for the future. And now, as I step into a new season of life, I know that the abundance I've been waiting for is coming. But more than material wealth, I understand that the true riches are found in spiritual growth, in emotional healing, and in living in alignment with my divine purpose. Looking back, I see how every struggle, every moment of doubt was part of the preparation for this moment. I am not just surviving, I am thriving, because I am living out the divine purpose I was always destined to fulfill. And with this realization comes a deep sense of peace, knowing that everything I've been through has led me exactly where I'm supposed to be. As I look back on the challenges I've faced in my life, I can't help but see a pattern. Every difficulty, every obstacle that seemed to rise up against me, now feels like a deliberate attempt to weaken my spirit. At first, I thought of these trials as random acts of misfortune or coincidence, but as I've grown spiritually and emotionally, I've come to understand that they were not random at all. These struggles weren't meant to defeat me or break me down. They were designed to suppress something much deeper, my divine potential. The challenges I faced, whether negative energies, doubts, or external forces, were attempts to suppress my true potential. I've learned that the harder the struggle, the greater the opportunity to step into my true power. Each trial was an attack on my spirit, designed to make me question my worth and purpose. But I realized that these difficulties weren't signs I was on the wrong path. They were proof that I was moving closer to my divine purpose. These struggles weren't accidental, but strategic attempts to keep me from realizing my full potential. To walk in my divine calling, I had to face these attacks with courage, knowing that each battle was an opportunity for growth. The enemy doesn't target the insignificant, it attacks those with purpose. This realization helped me see that every hardship was a sign I was exactly where I needed to be. Reflecting on these challenges, I understand that they weren't just about overcoming the moment. They were about preparing me for something far greater. When the weight of life felt unbearable, I often felt alone. But those moments were when I was being shaped the most. They refined me, strengthened me, and built the character I would need to fulfill my purpose. Though these attacks felt overwhelming at times, I've learned that my divine potential is far greater than any opposition. The resistance I faced was preparing me for a breakthrough I couldn't have reached without these struggles. As I walk through life now, I approach every challenge with a new understanding. Instead of seeing them as setbacks, I now see them as invitations to rise up. I recognize that I am being prepared for a greater destiny, one that requires strength, resilience, and the ability to face adversity with unwavering faith. These challenges aren't there to break me. They are there to mold me into the person I am meant to become. And with each challenge I face, I feel more equipped to step into the greatness that has always been within me. In this journey, I've also learned that the enemy's attacks are not only external, but internal. The doubts, the negative self-talk, and the fear that arises from within are also part of the strategy to suppress my potential. But I've learned to fight these internal battles just as fiercely as the external ones. By trusting in my divine purpose, by believing in the power that resides within me, I am no longer swayed by these attacks. I am standing stronger than ever, knowing that each challenge is simply another opportunity for me to grow, evolve, and fulfill the purpose I was always meant to achieve. As I move forward, I know that the struggles I face will continue, but I also know that I am not just enduring them, I am overcoming them. The divine potential within me is unstoppable, and no attack, no matter how powerful, can suppress what I am destined to become. When I look back on my early life, it's clear that I was never truly meant to blend in with the crowd. I always felt different, isolated in a way that I couldn't explain to others. At times, it was a sense of not quite belonging, like I was an outsider looking in. It was as if I could see a world full of connections and joy, but for some reason, I couldn't find my way in. This feeling of being different, of not measuring up or being understood, was painful. But as I reflect now, I realize that this sense of isolation was never a mistake. It wasn't a flaw in my journey. It was part of a much bigger plan, one designed to lead me toward understanding my true strength. Those early struggles of feeling different were not random occurrences. In fact, I can see now that they were strategically placed in my path, like tests or trials that were meant to weaken me before I could realize the power within. It was as if there was a force trying to get me to question my worth, to feel like I didn't fit into the world around me. At times, I wondered if something was wrong with me because I didn't seem to experience the same ease that others did in connecting with the world, in finding my place. The whispers of doubt, the moments when I felt overlooked or misunderstood, they were all part of the enemy's attempt to stop me from discovering the strength I was meant to tap into. I can see now that those feelings of isolation were never meant to be permanent. They were simply part of the preparation process. What I didn't realize at the time was that those moments of solitude were actually giving me the space to grow. They allowed me to reflect, to delve deeper into myself, and to begin the process of understanding who I truly was beyond the surface. They forced me to confront the inner workings of my mind and spirit, to wrestle with my own sense of self-worth, and to challenge the narratives that society had imposed on me. During those times, I couldn't rely on external validation. I had to discover who I was and what I was meant to become on my own. This discovery wasn't immediate, but a gradual process of uncovering beliefs that held me back. Each moment of isolation was training me for something greater. I learned that my strength didn't come from fitting in. It came from embracing my uniqueness. Looking back, I see those struggles as tests of resilience, forcing me to grow stronger in my spirit. The enemy wanted me to stay small, but fighting against those pressures showed me that my true strength was in breaking free from conformity. The isolation wasn't permanent. It was a tool for self-discovery. And I realized that being different wasn't something to be ashamed of, but a superpower. What seemed like loneliness was an invitation to connect with my inner strength and step into my power without fear of judgment. These moments of feeling misunderstood were where my personal growth happened. As I continue on this journey, I realize that these early struggles, these moments of isolation, were never meant to defeat me. They were meant to prepare me for the life I was always meant to live. They were shaping me into someone who could rise above the pressures of the world, someone who could stand in the fullness of my divine potential. I've learned to embrace my differences, to understand that they are not weaknesses, but strengths that set me apart for a purpose greater than I could have ever imagined. Now I look at those challenges with gratitude, knowing that they were the very things that forced me to dig deeper and rise higher. And while I may have felt isolated at the time, I now know that I was never truly alone. Those moments of solitude were simply a preparation for the strength I carry within me today. The appearance of hawks has been a powerful sign of divine guidance on my journey. At first, I didn't understand their significance, But over time, I realized that these birds were messengers, reminding me that I wasn't alone, especially during moments of doubt. The hawks symbolized vision, power, and divine protection, teaching me to trust that my higher purpose would reveal itself in time, even when I couldn't see the full path ahead. Their presence often brought a sense of calm, reassuring me that everything was unfolding as it should. I had spent so much time seeking clarity, but the hawks showed me that sometimes clarity comes from stepping back and allowing things to unfold naturally. I didn't need to control every step. I just needed to keep moving forward in faith. The hawks taught me that divine guidance is always present, even when the next step isn't clear. They became a symbol of trust, showing me that my higher purpose requires faith beyond what I can immediately see. Now, when I see a hawk, I view it as a confirmation that I am on the right path, part of a larger, divinely orchestrated plan. Their presence reminds me that I'm never alone and that my purpose is unfolding exactly as it should. I've come to understand that signs, much like hawks appearing at unexpected moments, represent not only the divine presence, but also the heights I am meant to reach. When these signs appear, they offer a powerful reminder to trust in the unseen divine plan that is unfolding in my life. At times, it can feel as though I am walking a path without a clear destination, uncertain of where I'm heading and whether I'm on the right track. But in those moments when I see a hawk soaring through the sky or witness some other sign that feels divinely timed, I am reminded that there's a much bigger plan at play, one that I don't always have to understand right away. The hawk, with its remarkable ability to soar high above the earth and see things from a perspective far beyond what is visible to the naked eye, has become a symbol of my own spiritual journey. In the same way that the hawk's vision allows it to see far ahead, I am learning to trust that there is a higher perspective guiding my path, even when I cannot see the whole picture. The hawk represents the ability to reach new heights, to rise above the daily struggles and uncertainties, and to view life from a more expansive, divine perspective. When I see one, I feel as though it's a sign that I am meant to reach beyond what I can currently comprehend and tap into a higher level of understanding and growth. What strikes me most about these signs is the sense of calm they bring when I encounter them. I could be in the midst of a chaotic moment, feeling overwhelmed by the demands of life, and then I see the hawk. It doesn't make any noise, doesn't demand my attention. It simply appears, soaring through the sky, almost like it's part of the natural order of things. In that quiet moment, I feel a sense of peace wash over me. It's as though the universe is reminding me that everything is unfolding exactly as it should. I don't need to have all the answers right now. I just need to trust that I'm on the right path, even if it's not entirely clear to me at this moment. There have been times when I felt disconnected or isolated, as if the things I wanted to achieve or the purpose I was meant to fulfill were out of reach. But the hawk has shown me that these feelings of isolation are temporary and part of the process. It's easy to get caught up in the idea that I need to have everything figured out now, that the path should be clear and the destination obvious. However, the hawk teaches me that some things can only be seen from a higher vantage point, and that the divine plan is often more intricate and expansive than I can imagine. The journey is just as important as the destination, and sometimes the process of unfolding and discovery is what prepares me for the greater heights I'm meant to reach. I've learned that trust is key in this journey, trusting that there is a divine plan guiding me, even when I can't see it, and trusting that the challenges I face are not obstacles, but opportunities to grow and expand into the person I am meant to become. The hawk doesn't question its ability to soar, it simply does. And in the same way, I am learning to trust in my own capacity to rise above any challenges, knowing that I am supported by forces greater than myself. The hawk's appearance reminds me that sometimes the best way to move forward is not through force, but through surrender. I don't need to constantly strive or try to control every aspect of my life. Instead, I can lean into the divine flow, trusting that I am being guided toward the heights I am meant to reach. Every sign I encounter, every hawk that appears, reinforces the understanding that the divine plan is unfolding perfectly. The key is to remain open, to trust the process, and to recognize that I am not alone in this journey. I now see these signs, like the hawk, as reminders that my higher purpose is not always meant to be understood in its entirety at once. The path ahead may not always be clear, but if I trust in the divine plan and continue moving forward, I will eventually reach the heights I am meant to achieve. And in those moments when I feel uncertain, I can look to the hawk as a symbol of vision and trust, knowing that I am being guided to something greater than I can fully comprehend right now. I've often thought about how an individual's unique energy, much like Joseph's in the Bible, can attract both admiration and opposition. There's something powerful about standing in one's purpose, about stepping fully into the person I am meant to become, that can't help but stir reactions in others. Joseph, with his dreams and his coat of many colors, became a figure of both awe and envy. His brothers, driven by jealousy, plotted against him because they couldn't understand the greatness he was destined for. Despite their efforts, Joseph's destiny was unstoppable. His journey, full of hardships, betrayal, and triumph, speaks to something deeper: the inherent power of staying true to my path, even when others attempt to derail me. As I reflect on my own life, I've come to realize that my energy can draw similar reactions. When I start to align myself with my true purpose, my authentic self, I attract both those who are inspired by what I am doing and those who may feel threatened by it. There's something magnetic about pursuing my goals with passion, and that magnetism can make some people uncomfortable. They may not understand my vision, or they may feel threatened by my progress. Like Joseph's brothers, they may even project their insecurities onto me, trying to minimize my light because they fear what it represents. But in those moments, I remember Joseph, and I remember that no one can truly stop me from fulfilling my purpose if I stay grounded in my faith and trust in the journey. It's difficult to deal with opposition, especially when it's personal. I've faced situations where people close to me questioned my choices, doubted my intentions, or even tried to dissuade me from pursuing what I knew was right for me. In those moments, it can feel isolating. But just like Joseph, I've learned that opposition doesn't define me. It refines me. Every trial I face, every setback, and every challenge helps me build resilience. It strengthens my resolve and helps me see more clearly the path that lies ahead. Even when others can't see the vision I have for myself, I am reminded that the journey is mine to walk, not theirs. Joseph's story reminds me that greatness isn't defined by the ease of the journey, but by the way I respond to the challenges along the way. There's a deep lesson in how Joseph remained steadfast in his faith despite being thrown into a pit by his brothers, sold into slavery, and imprisoned. Yet through it all, he didn't give up on his dreams or on the divine plan that was unfolding in his life. He knew that his destiny was bigger than the temporary obstacles he faced. And in the end, his rise to power not only fulfilled his own purpose, but also saved his family and the nation. It's a testament to the idea that when I stay true to my calling, no matter the opposition, it will all work together for my good and the good of those around me. I've also learned that there's a balance between standing firm in my purpose and remaining open to the lessons that opposition can bring. It's easy to become defensive when I face resistance, to become angry or frustrated with those who don't understand me. But Joseph's ability to forgive and move forward, even after being wronged by his own brothers, is a powerful reminder of the importance of forgiveness and grace. Instead of letting bitterness take root, Joseph chose to see the bigger picture. The way everything that happened, both good and bad, ultimately led to his fulfilling his purpose. Joseph's story reminds me to stay focused on my own journey, knowing that the challenges I face are just stepping stones. They test my faith, strength, and commitment to my purpose. Like Joseph, I must keep moving forward, trusting that my purpose is greater than any setback. I've learned that my path is uniquely mine, and while I can't control how others perceive me, I can control my response. I choose to rise above negativity, remain focused on my goals, and trust that everything is unfolding as it should. These struggles aren't meant to destroy me, but to prepare me for something greater. In moments of deep struggle, it's easy to feel overwhelmed, but I've come to see challenges as opportunities for growth, testing my limits, and revealing resilience I didn't know I had. The pressure I face, much like coal turning into a diamond, refines me, making me stronger and more capable. Every challenge is a chance to become a better version of myself and align more with my true purpose. I also understand now that no external force, no matter how powerful, can take away the divine purpose that is embedded within my soul. This purpose isn't something that can be stripped away by failure, criticism, or opposition. It's part of who I am at the deepest level, and nothing can alter that. Life may try to knock me off course, to distract me, or to make me doubt myself, but I know that the essence of my purpose remains unshaken. It's not dependent on circumstances or the opinions of others. It's anchored in something far greater than any challenge I face. When I reflect on my own journey, I realize that the most difficult moments have often led to the most profound growth. There are times when I've questioned my worth, when I've doubted whether I'm on the right path. But I've come to understand that those doubts are just part of the process. They're not signs that I'm lost or that I should give up. They're opportunities for me to dig deeper, to reconnect with my inner purpose, and to keep moving forward. Every challenge is a test, not of my worth, but of my commitment to my higher calling. It's a reminder that even when things aren't going as planned, I am still on the right path because my purpose is bigger than the temporary obstacles I face. I've learned that in the midst of adversity, I must remain anchored in faith. It's easy to get caught up in the external circumstances, to become consumed by what's going wrong. But when I focus on the divine purpose within me, I realize that no challenge is too great to overcome. There's always a way forward, even if I can't see it in the moment. I trust that the difficulties I face are shaping me, preparing me, and guiding me toward the person I am meant to become. No matter how hard it gets, I know that these challenges are not here to break me. They are here to build me up, to make me stronger, and to lead me to the fulfillment of my purpose. In the end, I realize that I am not defined by my circumstances, but by the strength I gain from them. The challenges I face are simply stepping stones, pushing me closer to my destiny. My purpose cannot be taken from me because it is woven into the very fabric of who I am. And so, with each challenge I encounter, I rise higher, becoming more resilient, more confident, and more aligned with the divine purpose that guides my life. I've come to recognize that God's divine protection and guidance are woven into every part of my journey, especially in the most difficult moments. It's something I may not always fully understand in the heat of the moment, but looking back, I can see it clearly. Every challenge I've faced has not been a random occurrence or a mere test of endurance. It has been a carefully planned part of a greater preparation, a step that I needed to take to get closer to my purpose. I've had my share of trials, times when everything seemed to go wrong, and I was surrounded by uncertainty and doubt. There were moments when I felt completely alone, when the weight of the world felt too heavy to bear. But in those times, I've learned to trust that God was always there, providing me with the protection and strength I needed, even when I couldn't feel it. It wasn't always clear how things were going to work out or why I was facing such difficult situations, but in retrospect, I see that each obstacle was a part of the path designed to bring me closer to who I am meant to be. There's a sense of peace that comes with understanding that God's guidance is always with me. It's a reminder that I'm not walking this journey alone. In fact, I've come to realize that my struggles are not just random events. They are opportunities for me to lean into my faith, to trust that the challenges I face are part of something much bigger than myself. God's divine protection surrounds me, keeping me from going off course, even when I feel like I'm lost or when the road ahead seems unclear. It's as if every step, even the painful ones, is leading me towards something greater than I could ever have imagined on my own. This realization has given me the strength to persevere through difficulties with a deeper sense of purpose. In times when I would have previously felt defeated, I now look at these challenges as part of the preparation process, as if God is helping me grow and transform into the person I need to become. I've learned to view these obstacles not as setbacks, but as lessons. Every time I face a challenge, it's like a lesson in resilience, patience, or humility, each one guiding me toward the path I am meant to follow. There's also a deep reassurance that no matter how difficult the road may seem, God's plan for me will always unfold in the right way, at the right time. The moments of confusion and struggle are just chapters in a much larger story. At the time, it can feel like nothing makes sense, and I may question why things are happening the way they are. But looking back, I see how every twist and turn, every hardship, has led me to a place of growth. It has built my character, developed my faith, and prepared me for what lies ahead. God's protection is also about keeping me safe from harm, both seen and unseen. There have been times when I couldn't see how things were going to work out, but I trusted that God was guarding me and keeping me on the right path. There's a sense of reassurance in knowing that I'm never truly alone in my struggles, that there is always divine guidance watching over me. Even in moments of uncertainty, I've learned to rest in the belief that I'm exactly where I need to be. As I reflect on my journey, I see how each challenge has been a building block, each one strengthening me for the future. Even when things seem difficult or unfair, I trust that they are part of God's greater plan. The protection and guidance I've received have allowed me to grow stronger, to face the unknown with more courage, and to trust that the path I'm on is leading me exactly where I need to go. With God's divine protection, I am never truly lost. Every step, no matter how challenging, is part of a much bigger preparation for the life I am meant to live. I am reminded every day that God is always at work in my life, even when I don't see it immediately. The protection I receive is not always in the form of obvious miracles or instant solutions. Sometimes it's the quiet assurance that I am being prepared, that the very struggles I face are shaping me into the person who will one day look back and see how every single challenge, every moment of doubt, was a part of God's divine plan all along. And that knowledge gives me peace, knowing that nothing is ever truly wasted. Everything has purpose. The enemy has done its best to break me, to shatter my spirit in ways that would make anyone feel like giving up. The attacks have come in many forms: doubt, fear, heartbreak, rejection, and failure. It's as if every time I took a step forward, I was met with an invisible force trying to pull me back. At times, it felt like the weight of the world was on my shoulders, like I was carrying the pain of every disappointment and loss that had come before. But through it all, I've realized something profound. The enemy's attempt to break me has only served to make me stronger. Each trial, each wound, has revealed a resilience within me that I didn't know I had. In the midst of my darkest moments, when I thought I couldn't go any further, I began to see a truth that has forever changed me. I am not my trauma. I am not defined by the challenges I've faced. The very things that the enemy hoped would destroy me have only forged a power in me, one that no amount of pain can ever diminish. It's as if the deeper the wound, the more resilient I became. The harder the blow, the stronger my foundation was laid. I began to understand that every setback, every painful experience, was not just an obstacle, but a stepping stone to a version of myself that was untouchable. What I've come to realize is that trauma, while painful, does not have to be the end of my story. It doesn't have the final say. I used to believe that the damage done to me would somehow define my worth, my future. But now I understand that the very experiences that tried to break me were opportunities to discover a deeper strength, a strength that comes from within. I've learned that no matter what happens, my spirit cannot be defeated unless I allow it to be, and I refuse to let the enemy have that power. I've learned that resilience is not just bouncing back from difficulty, it's about growing through it. Each challenge I've faced has been like a fire, and I've emerged from each one more refined, more whole, and more determined to keep going. I've learned to trust in my own ability to rise no matter how hard I fall. I've developed an unwavering belief that no matter how many times I'm knocked down, I will get back up stronger and more determined than before. The enemy's attempts to break me have only fueled the fire within me, driving me to keep pushing forward, even when I couldn't see the way ahead. The power I've found within myself is not just about surviving, it's about thriving. Every time I face another obstacle, I know that it is simply a new opportunity to tap into that strength. I'm no longer afraid of the struggle because I've seen firsthand that struggle leads to growth. I've learned to embrace challenges not as something to be feared, but as a chance to discover more about myself and the power that lies within me. What's incredible is that I no longer view my trauma as a source of shame or weakness. Instead, I've come to see it as a badge of honor. It's a part of my story, a testament to the battles I've fought and won. Every scar, every tear is proof that I've endured, that I've stood my ground even when the world tried to knock me down. And as I stand here today, I can say with confidence that the power I've found in the midst of my pain is greater than anything the enemy could have ever hoped for. It's a power that is unshakable, untouchable, and unbreakable. Looking back, I can see that each trial was necessary to reveal this strength. I would not be who I am today if I hadn't faced the things that tried to break me. The resilience I have now, the inner power, is something that no enemy can take away. It's a part of who I am, woven into the very fabric of my being. And as I move forward, I carry that power with me, stronger, wiser, and more unyielding than ever before. In the end, I've learned that nothing, not even trauma, can take away the power I have inside. I may have been knocked down, but I've always gotten back up, and I always will. That is the true strength, the ability to keep going no matter what, and to emerge from every trial stronger than before. As I step into this new season of divine restoration, I can feel the energy around me shifting. It's like the universe is aligning in a way that promises not just material wealth, but a deeper, more profound transformation. The abundance I sense is not just financial or physical, it goes beyond that. It's a wealth that comes from within, one that is rooted in spiritual and emotional growth, and it fills me with an excitement I've never known before. I've walked through seasons of struggle, of hardship, where it seemed like things were always just out of reach. It felt as though everything I worked for was constantly slipping through my fingers, and no matter how hard I tried, the breakthroughs I yearned for never quite materialized. I felt defeated, lost, even abandoned at times. But through it all, there was a deep, quiet knowing that I was being prepared for something greater. Now looking back, I can see that those moments of challenge were not punishments or signs of failure. They were the shaping of my character, the molding of my spirit, the foundation for something far more significant than anything I could have imagined. I've learned that true wealth isn't about the things I possess, but the peace I carry within. It's the emotional resilience to face challenges without crumbling. It's the spiritual strength to stay grounded and trust in divine timing, even when everything around me feels uncertain. And now I find myself on the brink of this divine restoration, where the promises of abundance are not just words, they are tangible, manifesting in ways I never expected. The financial success that's coming is part of this. Yes, I can already feel opportunities opening up. Doors I once thought were closed now swinging wide open. But what excites me most is that this new season isn't just about receiving, it's about becoming. It's about growing into the person who can not only handle the wealth, but understand its true purpose. I've come to realize that abundance isn't just about collecting things for myself. It's about using what I have to uplift others, to make a positive impact, and to fulfill a higher purpose. And this season is teaching me that true wealth comes from aligning with divine purpose. It's about understanding that I am a vessel, a channel for something much greater than myself. The material wealth that will come is only a tool, a means to an end, but it's the spiritual and emotional wealth that will be the true treasure. I'm learning to seek peace within, to cultivate gratitude, and to keep my heart open to the divine guidance that has always been there, waiting for me to notice. I now understand that divine restoration is about healing from the inside out. It's about embracing the lessons from the past, forgiving myself and others, and stepping forward with a renewed sense of purpose. It's about letting go of the scarcity mindset and embracing the belief that I am worthy of everything that is coming my way. And more importantly, it's about understanding that the true restoration is not just the material success, but the healing of my soul, the mending of my emotional wounds, and the alignment of my spirit with the greater plan. The divine abundance I'm stepping into is a result of this spiritual and emotional growth. It's as if everything I've endured, everything I've learned, is now coming to fruition. I am no longer the person I was in my past struggles. I am stronger, wiser, and more capable. The wealth that is manifesting now is not just a reflection of external circumstances. It is a reflection of the growth and healing that has occurred within me. This journey has taught me that true wealth isn't about hoarding resources for myself. It's about recognizing the divine gifts I've been given and using them to serve others. It's about building something that lasts beyond my lifetime, something that can positively impact the world and bring light into the lives of others. As I step into this new season, I know that the wealth and abundance coming my way are just the beginning. What I have gained in this season is not just material, it is the peace, wisdom, and understanding that come from living a life aligned with divine purpose. And that, I know, is the true wealth that can never be taken away.